but you got to be really authentic with yourself. Because if it is
Yes.
good for you, then all the other issues disappear. But if you're complaining, maybe it's authentically, you're not really saying it's good for you. You know, like there's a dance there, right? Like if you love what you're doing, complaints disappear. Problem solving kicks in. And one of the things to bring into the mortgage business, I've worked with different people at all different stages of their development, career, learning, bio. It's like, look, man, first and foremost, you have to have a love affair with problems and fixing them.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
If you don't like solving problems, I don't know what you could do for a living, quite frankly. But you gotta love solving problems, solutions, fulfilling people's concerns and futures. You know, I want to go on vacation. Well, if my travel agent ain't gonna help me I've got to figure it out. But you know, and that's perhaps what we're doing here in one sense is offering people distinctions so they could be empowered to go solve whatever doesn't work in their life, whatever they might call a problem, whatever goals they have. But it's all available. I'm going to go back to it's all available. You brought up race, and I want to just address the race thing. I've been, by the way, one of the things I also do is that I like doing comedy, so I'll do a little stand up here and then. So, and I like working on. I don't even call myself a comic. I get on stage and I say, listen, I'm not the guy that's funny here. I'm a funny guy, distinct from comedians. Like these guys are clowns. These guys are jokers. These guys do great stuff. Me, I'm like the dad in the room who'll say the funny thing. If we were at the PTA meeting, I'd kill it. I'd be the comic at the PTA. So, but I do, and been fleshing this out where I've never, Black, Hispanic. I've seen all sides of racism, from the Black side, from the Hispanic side, from the immigrants. I do this one thing. Look, I at a young age, I was mid-20s. I was held at gunpoint by 5 cops because I was jogging, and I didn't even think of it as race. I was like, that was just a coincidence, you know. But I don't think it was race. I just think it was a coincidence. You know, it's like I just happened to be the guy that was jogging and whatever. No, but anyway, so I try to say that we have to get past the conversation about race, the actions that create race, from color, gender, religion. Those are factors, not in denial about it.
Yep.
But I could take somebody to the Congo, just like I could take you to a Latin American country, just like I could take you to an Asian country. Currently, I could take you to a Slavic area, and you will see crime, violence, and hate. Right? So one of the and there's a joke for anybody that's listening, but there's some truth to it. It's like, I don't want to hear anybody tell me about black on black crime in Chicago anymore, because white on white crime is no joke. You guys break out the tanks. You guys like bombing hospitals and kids. I mean, that's some crazy shit. Don't tell me about right. So it does prove something, though. It does show something that you have a white-skinned group of people doing violence on another white-skinned group of people. So I assert that, though that is a factor for some people, what's underneath it is, you brought up the word earlier, ignorance, education, stupidity, hate, emotions that have never been addressed. You know, for all I know, these people just haven't been hugged as kids. Who knows? It's just, but at the end of the day, there's and I know, I personally know, I think of one in particular, I know a couple, but one particular friend, and what had him convert, but really shift eventually, I'm telling you a very short version. He was in prison. He was in solitary confinement. And he said, man, it took a while, but when I finally just had to listening to me, with me and only me, and realize that it was me, and oh shit, there really is nobody in here. Oh, what am I gonna, wait, who, where do these stories come from? Wait a minute, what? Wait. I mean, he found God, right? Or whoever he needed to find. Whatever conversation you need to be a person of, I'm going to say faith, I'm going to say decent person. That way it covers everybody's landscape, right? A decent, good human being that's actually a person empowering people versus a person who is promoting hate, anger, physically hating, which that's a whole different line. Legislative aiding, which happens all the time with laws. That takes something. That takes something. Bringing it back to veterans, the military. I am so clear that anybody that's willing to join the military is committed to making a difference, no matter how they got there, to escape, to not escape, career, choice, legacy, family. They want to do it. Whatever the impetus is to put yourself in a situation where you're now at service for a country, man, you got a big heart. I have to get some clutter out of the way. But you want to make a difference. I'm clear you want to make a difference. No difference than the person who is now even perhaps homeless, resigned. They hate the world, America. They're resigned because somewhere on the line, that person wanted to make such a big difference. And when they tried to do it, smash, they couldn't do it. And they gave up. They gave up on generating and learning, maybe just reading for quite frankly. These days, listening to a podcast, hearing somebody, a mentor, somebody somewhere where they were able to get a grip on themselves and their thoughts. Because we get hijacked. I get hijacked. Look, I'm hijacked into doing this. So I could say it that way, but I'm riding my ship, and this is what I want to do with my life. I love it. And if I died tomorrow, I want to die knowing that I added conversations to this thing called life where people go up, not down. That's all. Very simple. If you look at all my work, it's always been that for the most part. I know you guys have an interest in that. So there's a code that we could help crack here. And I know you brought up FICO score, and then you brought up racism. And I said, wow, what a leap from racism to FICO score. But the thread is still all the same. Are you willing to be self-empowered? Are you willing to let go of what you think is truth and consider another possible truth until you find the truth that has you be in action, like Russell was saying, making a difference, versus, life goes like this, man. Do you really want to spend it bitching and moaning and complaining and hemming and hawing and, oh, he's got a yacht and I don't? Honestly, do you really want a yacht? You know what kind of pain it is to have a boat anyway? Rent a boat. Go on your friend's boat. But yeah, if you want a yacht, go for it, But there's no conspiracy out there trying to say, I'm sorry, you can't be successful.
Indeed. So if I can, for all of those of you listening, and you're going, okay, well, this is great. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Okay. Here's where the rubber meets the road. If you don't know what your credit report looks like, pull your Equifax, pull your Experian, pull your TransUnion credit reports. If you haven't looked at your bank statement, and for those of you in uniform, you have to have a bank statement because you can't get paid without direct deposit. Look at your bank statement. Start asking yourself, for those of you that get paid on the 1st and the 15th, for those of you that get paid once a month, start doing a hard look, as we say in the Army, a deep dive, and ask yourself, what are you doing with your income from payday to payday? And for those of you that have the must-have allotments, you have children that you have to take care of, you have parents that you have to take care of, understandable. Look at the disposable income and start asking yourself the hard questions. What am I doing with my disposable income? For those of you that don't have disposable income right now, even that is understandable. What you don't get to do beginning today is you no longer get to beat yourself up. When I was in my officer basic course, young lady that I was dating, I was crazy enough to entrust her with paying my rent for 6 months on my apartment in Silver Spring, Maryland, because I was in my officer basic course at Fort Eustis in Newport News, Virginia. She went and bought a new car. I had to come and I had to empty out a 2-bedroom apartment and set it out at the dumpster and watch my neighbors take brand new furniture, brand new color TVs. And for the next year, I slept on a friend's floor in his living room. But I left from sleeping on that floor to purchasing a single family semi-detached home in Washington, D.C. Beginning today, you no longer get to beat yourself up. When Russ and I were out at the National Guard Bureau together, Russ didn't know this. I was flipping homes in 3 states. I had amassed $2 million in addition to being on active duty. 30 days before I had set everything up where I was going to cash out and I was going to get $2 million in cash. And I was going to get out of flipping homes and I was going to take that $2 million and start diversifying it into multiple different streams of investments. 30 days before I was going to do that, the bottom fell out of the real estate market, 2007. You can go back and check the history.
Yeah, 2007, 2008 was brutal.
And I had to file bankruptcy. But guess what? As I sit here and talk to you right now, my credit score is over 800. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to share with you beginning today. Stop. You no longer get to beat yourself up. Where you are is where you are. Pull those credit reports, take a hard and realistic look of where you are, and pull your bank accounts, start looking at how you're spending your money. Here's lesson 1 right now, and I'm going to say it slowly, and Lou and Russ, if it's okay, I'm going to say it 3 times to make sure everyone listening has the opportunity to write it down. When your outgo is more than your income, then your upkeep will become your downfall. I'm going to say it again. When your upkeep, when your outgo is greater than your income, then your upkeep will become your downfall. Last time, for anyone that didn't get a chance to write it down, when your outgo is more than your income, then your upkeep will become your downfall. June 1980, 19 years old, a month before my 20th birthday, went into the delayed entry program of the United States Army. If somebody would have told me then, hey, the next 40 years of your life are going to be a blur, I wouldn't have believed it. Because I sit here now at 61, I'm getting ready to turn 62 this July, and I'm telling you, those 40 years in the military zoomed by. You might think right now you have the tiger by the tail. You might think right now you have all the time in the world. Folks, I'm telling you, it goes by quick. Whether you're a one-termer or whether you're a lifer, whether you're halfway through your military career at 10 years, whether you just entered sanctuary at 17 and a half, 18, it goes by quick. The question you need to start asking yourself today, do I have a plan? What is the plan? What am I going to be doing after? What am I doing now? What am I doing to prepare myself? And if the answer is I don't know, and if the answer is I don't have, then as they used to say on the old Batman TV series, same bat channel, same bat time, you need to keep tuning into this podcast so that you can get the knowledge, so that you can get the wisdom, so that you can get the tools that these gentlemen have to offer you. Thank you, Lou. I hope I didn't get long-winded.
No, it's very accurate. There is what's that saying, that the best time to start something is always now, right? Something like that. It's like now. So there's no, and you could have look, again, the education is information's out there. Got to be willing to do the work or trust the people who are offering it to you or where it's coming from. But you could have a terrible FICO score and still buy a property. You're just not going to get as good terms as somebody with a greater FICO score. So if you have to start at a bad FICO score and then go to the middle and then go to improve it over time, excellent. That's how you do it. If you need to start with, I tend to go to the joke and the comedy sometimes. So I have to be responsible for that. So forgive me for my desire to always crack a joke. I'm not going to say this one, but it has to do with a lot of people living in a home together. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's actually not a bad idea. And really, I can't do the joke. So whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, we do it in college. There's cultures that do it. There's communities that do it. So start that way, or partner up with as a full-time single dad with 2 daughters for a good 13 years of their lives now, and it's not for the weak. I'll tell you that right now. It's not for the weak. And a lot of people will thank me and say, "Oh, the acknowledgement, go, man, it's really awesome that you did that. You're able to raise your daughters by yourself. How incredible, blah, blah, blah." And I take the compliment. But women have been doing this forever. So I thank you. And let's acknowledge these single moms who, man, not an easy, and they got even, anyway, we know how the culture of women has finally been evolving, culture for women, I should say. But you can start off with 2 families in a house and then split it. I've done mortgages with 3 families buying a 3-family in urban environments, and they all move into the house, and now it's like you can make it work. So there's ways of making it work. And the thing about being in the military, there is God willing, you never have to deal with something that is violent against you personally or anybody for that matter. But there is an opportunity for stability over a period of time, where if you do handle it smart and wise, and you do manage what you're saying, how you allocate what you're spending money on, it is, you know what? Go frugal, go cheap, go. You know what? I'm eating here. Anything that I get for free, I'm doing this. Not free. I'm getting, it's part of my job that I get this stuff provided. I take that word free back really bad. Like, I shouldn't even said free, because getting meals for being in the military is no different than a person gets meals working at a film studio. so only you're actually doing something like saving lives, right? So on that note, there's an opportunity to really lower all your costs and expenses while you're in the military, and take every single dime and just save it and save it and save it and save it, and then take advantage of the VA loan options. And I also recommend, try to buy a 2, 3, 4 family off the bat. Don't go right to the 1 family. Try to get something that rent. So you're kind of pointing to that, and that's more of a deep dive conversation. Yeah, I just want to benchmark that the time to start is always now.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is, but it doesn't have to be with us. Google, how to fix your credit. Google how to budget. Google, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But if you're not in action, I'm telling you, you're not being trainable.
Part of that action. Yeah, I agree with you, Lou. And part of that action, one of the things that's going to come with all of this, and what everybody that's listening to this or needs to put in as a feather in their cap, or put this in their back pocket, or quite frankly, have in front of your face. And that's time and patience, because both are going to give you wonderful results. Because if you're impatient, you're going to do something stupid, or you're going to do something that is going to cause your time to increase exponentially.
Yes.
So you got to be patient on the route that you're going to take in order to get where you're going to go. And you got to allow yourself enough time in order to get there. So if you say to yourself, well, I'm going to get there in 2 years. Well, first off, is it realistic for 2 years. If it is, great. If it's, you don't want to set something that, you get there and you go, oh man, I didn't do it. The world hates me. No, maybe you just did not see, it realistically. We talked not too long ago, me and Lou, and we do this all the time, Eric, is talk about expectation management.
Yes.
What is your expectation, and is it realistic? Because once it doesn't meet your timeline, do you go back and reassess, or do you throw up your hands and get angry and start pointing your fingers and saying, you know what, if it weren't for this, if it weren't for that, or if it weren't for you, this would have occurred. But what was the expectation? What did you really look to get out of the event that you were trying to do or trying to get to? And so if you exercise, patience in there and have a realistic time with realistic expectations, you'll turn your situation around, whether it's credit score, whether it's relationship, or whatever the case may be. And the core value of all of that is being trainable, is understanding what it is that you're trying to get to and applying the things that you've learned and the things that are going to create, levels of growth as you move forward. You don't necessarily have to move up. The thing is, are you moving forward? You're not going backwards. You're not living in the past. You're not letting the past dictate your future, which you're dealing with right now. Right? So, it's just, I just need to, I felt I needed to say that, because one of the things that we don't take into account is our emotions that literally control left, right, back and forth, up or down on what we're going to do or what we're not going to do and when we're going to do it. And if we don't get control of those and put them in the right framework of patience, time, and I forgot the other thing that I was talking about, but if we don't put those in those categories, we're going to implode. And I don't mean explode, I mean implode. So then we open ourselves up to all those other emotions that come in, those other factors of depression, anxiety, anger, and lashing out at people, and then it becomes self-talk, self-destructive stuff. And it can happen in the mortgage business. It can happen anywhere. You have a goal of, I want to do 30 loans a month, and you're brand new in the business. Is that realistic? It might be, but is it? But are you going to start off with 10? Because first off, you got to build your base, right? So if you don't build that, but you're looking to come in and I want to do 30 loans. Hey, Lou, what do I got to do 30 loans? Who do I need to talk to? Are you going to give me the people that come in and do 30 loans? What are you expecting? I'm expecting to make $30,000 this month. Okay, what experience are you bringing to the table? What have you done? So it goes again about what you see somebody else have and what it takes for you to get to the point that you want to have what they have or experience that. So again, it's the expectation management, it's the patience, and it's the time. And if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have the patience, you're not going to make 30 loans because you're impatient to learn how to do that. If you don't give yourself enough time, you'll never make that because you're too impatient and you've got a squish amount of time of doing it. And if you don't make that, now you've got, I'm impatient, I didn't give myself enough time, and I had an expectation that Lou would make sure I get 30 loans within the 30 days. So I'm looking for that. So Lou, you let me down. And that's a fallacy, because we're coming in with unrealistic expectations, with the unrealistic of the amount of time it's going to take, with an unrealistic of the not having any patience, because we didn't do what we needed to do in the first place to get where we say we want to get to. But there is a period that we need to be realistic about in order to get there. And that's where the emotions of anger, disappointment, and everything else come about, because one of the things we have to realize, which both of you have said, it's you that will create the unrealistic expectation, the patience, the impatience, and the time, because you have not actually looked at what you're doing or why you want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.